2. Which situation is correctly modeled by the graph below? My recommendation for you during this problem is to start with each answer choice and write out what the equation is and see if it matches the graph. So for A, the number of pounds of pecans Y minus the number of walnuts X is at least 8 pounds. So we do Y minus X is meaning equal, at least meaning greater than equal, so that should actually be greater than or equal, not just equals. Okay, 8. So then we're going to add X to both sides to solve for Y. And Y is greater than or equal to X plus 8. Okay, and we know that and Y equals mx plus b, that the slope is right before the x, and then the b, the last term in this, is going to be our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is plus 8. That is true right here. Our question is our slope positive? Our slope goes, and since our slope goes down from left to right here, okay, we know our slope has to be negative. So in this case, we just realized that A cannot be our answer because it has a positive slope. So if we look at the next one, okay, for our answer choice B, we have the number of pounds of pecans Y minus the number of walnuts X is at most 8. So we have Y minus X is at most, meaning it can't be more than 8, so we're going to have less than or equal this time than 8. We add X to both sides, and we get Y is less than or equal to X plus 8. Noticing that, yes, our y-intercept is 8, but we still have a positive slope in our equation. And our equation over here is still a positive slope. Here we still need a negative slope, so B is also not our answer. And some of you might have picked up on that before you actually even wrote out that equation. For the next one, we need for C. Okay, the number of pounds of pecans Y plus the number of walnuts X is at least 8 pounds. So Y plus X, and we said that word at least means greater than or equal to 8. So now we subtract X from both sides, okay, and now we get Y is greater than or equal to negative X plus 8. And again, I read it from the bottom to the top here so that I can see it in mx plus b format. So negative X plus 8. So I have a positive 8 up here from my y-intercept, and then it goes down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and so on. So that, in fact, is the line that we're looking for. So C is our answer because it has the same y-intercept and the same slope. Now, you can look at D. The problem with D, actually our answer is not C. If we look carefully, C is greater than or equal to. And if it was greater than or equal to, we need to shade above. So you actually have to shade below for this one. So I'm assuming that our answer is probably going to be D, but let's double check it. So for D, it says Y plus the number of walnuts X is at most 8 pounds. So Y plus X is at most, so less than or equal to 8. Subtract X from both sides. Y is less than or equal to negative X plus 8. So less than or equal to is what we need. Negative X plus 8 we found from last time is what we need. So our answer is D. And it's all about that shading, because if you shade below the line, it should be less than or equal to. If you shade above the line, it should be greater than or equal to. So our answer is D. Number 7. The prom committee sells t-shirts to raise money for the prom. The profit from sales of 80 short sleeve t-shirts and 100 long sleeve t-shirts is $320. Profit from sales of 80 short sleeve t-shirts and 75 long sleeve t-shirts is $270. How much profit do they earn for each short sleeve t-shirt sale. So this question we're asking is, how much money do they earn for each short sleeve t-shirt sale? So we're going to set up a system of equations. So we're going to set up our first equation for short sleeve shirts. So 80 short sleeve shirts plus 100 long sleeve shirts equals $320. So I'm going to let X equal short sleeve and Y equal long sleeve. So our first equation is going to be 80S plus 100Y equals $320. Then our second equation is going to come from the second sentence. 80 short sleeve t-shirts and 75 long sleeve t-shirts is $270. So 80S plus 75Y equals $270. So what we take a look here, okay, is this is a system of equations, and we need to figure out, do we use substitution or elimination? Okay, obviously we're not going to use graphing because it's not y equals mx with b form. Okay, I also would not recommend substitution because you do not already have a variable solved for. And if we do elimination, what we notice here is that the 80s already have the same variable. So we can eliminate the two of these equations by subtraction. So when we do that, we need to go through and we need to change our minus to a positive, and everything else that changes to the opposite sign. So it's a negative 80s. This becomes a negative 75y. This becomes a negative 270. So then we go through and just combine. So 80s minus 80s cancels out. 100y minus 75y is 25y, which equals 320 minus 270. Now, since this problem is on a non-calculator part, you need to be able to do this without a calculator. So I'm going to go do some calculations over here. 320 minus 270. We know 0 minus 0 just stays 0. 2 minus 7 we can't do, so we need to borrow. So we go to the 3, we borrow 1 from the 3, so the 3 becomes a 2, and the 12 becomes, or the 2 becomes a 12. So 12 minus 7 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0, so we have 50. So this equals 50. And then to solve for y, we divide both sides by 25. And y equals 2. So now we need to go back and see, are we done? So how much profit do they earn for each short sleeve t-shirt? We know y is long sleeves, so we know they earn a profit of $2 for the long sleeve t-shirts. But that's not what we wanted. What we want is how much profit they earn off a short sleeve t-shirt. So I need to plug 2 back in for y in either equation and solve. So I'm going to put a little box down here. Okay, so you know I'm done there. And I'm going to go over here and do that math. So I'm going to take the red equation, 80s plus 75y equals 270. And note, I took the original equation. I'm not going to use the negatives. Okay, so we have 80s plus 75 times 2, which is what our y value was that we just found over here, equals 270. So we have 80s. 75 times 2 we know is 150, which equals 270. So then we're going to subtract 150 from both sides. Okay, and when we do that, we get, and I'm going to go over here now, and I'm sorry for the funny follow. Okay, so we get 80s equals, okay, 0 minus 0 is 0, 7 minus 5 is 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So 80 equals 120. Then we divide both sides by 80. And we see S equals. Now if we don't know what times 80 gives me 120, again we're going to have to go up here and do some long division. 80 divided by 120. So we know 80 times 2 is 160. So that doesn't really get us very far. So 80 times 1. So I'm going to put a 1 up here. 80 times 1 is 80. Okay, so 80, we're getting to 120. So 80 to 100 is 20. and 100 to 120 is 20, so we know we're left over with 40. 80 goes into 40, right? No, 0 times. So we need to add a 0. And when we add a 0, we add a decimal point up here. We bring down our 0. 80 goes into 400. And we know 8 goes into 40 5 times. So 80 goes into 400 5 times. Because 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40. And then we have nothing left over. So 1.5. So S equals 1.5. So we know that they make a profit of $1.50 off from a short sleeve shirt. Number 10. The sum of Elliot's age and twice Zane's age is 44. The difference of twice Elliot's age and Zane's age is minus 2.